I'm still a little jet lagged. I think my usual dry humor is a little wetter than it should be.
Well, what's so mad about our jobs is you get off a plane and immediately, I was just in Japan, like
Wow.
they said, well, you arrive at 7:30, get to the hotel at 8:30, start at 9, and that was it. And we did.
Yeah.
Suddenly, like 120 people in front of me saying, "Oh, hello, everybody!"
Yeah.
It's 25 years since the wonderful change of life, amazing album, and how the world has changed.
I can't believe I have memories that are 25 years old, much less an album that the world loves that's that old. But the world has changed, and maybe not for the better. Huh?
Sadly, not for the better.
Yeah.
No. But I mean, what's so good about the album and about what we're doing is it's just a positive, nice, no nonsense thing to do.
Couldn't agree more.
To do with friendship and just getting on with it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think I've met about 400 people today who can sing almost every track of the album. We just met the lady upstairs, and she said she knows every track.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I said, well,
she's Irish.
I said she could stand in for you, didn't I?
Yeah, yeah.
And she was Irish.
She probably knows the lyrics better than I do, actually, truth be told. We haven't performed since almost 10 years ago as a band, and of course the band disbanded 6 years ago. But I do sing in the shower. I don't often sing my own songs, but when we were putting this package together, I had to go back and listen to everything, go back and check and make sure that the lyric that we pulled off the internet was correct.
Right.
And do all that, all that busy work that you do when you put something out. And it's surprising to me how the songs still resonate for me.
Well, they've just stood the test of time, haven't they?
Thank you.
And the photography from Anton.
Anton. Oh,
I mean,
he's the best.
And so that's why it's been so brilliant doing being so privileged with actually making some nice things to go, to in memory of the 25 years and the fact that you've been so involved. I mean, so many people offer you some sort of collaboration, and normally we say no. In fact, almost always we say no. I'm very pleased in this time. It was just you and somebody I felt that I'd known for all my life, and I hadn't.
And right back, I've been a fan for a very long time.
Yeah. So I mean, and so it was so nice that you said yes, and then we actually worked together on it.
But I didn't say yes. I said yes, and we're doing this. Absolutely, we're going to do this. It's happening.
Anton is given his, blessing for the use of the imagery on the scarf, and the big scarf. What's so nice about it is it's not printed; it's actually woven, which is remarkable. Yeah. And the people in the factory in Como in Italy that have woven it, they spent a whole week just on the machine, just getting getting it set up.
Those different textures.
Yeah. We've got one of the scarves somewhere.
There's one here.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's great. It's lovely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that.
I mean, look at this. Look. Was the water cold?
I was actually being pulled out to sea while this photograph was taken. Yeah.
So look at that. I mean, what's so genius about that? Maybe, do I look a bit like Michael? How's that?
You're scaring me now. Yeah, I was being pulled out to sea. Anton's really tall, like you. Right. And he was in the water photographing me, but it was high tide, and so the tide was pulling me out, and the water was coming.
And he was saying, just one more.
My eyes are closed because because the water had just come over me. But it's such a stunning image, and
I know.
Wow, this is just.
And what's so interesting is it would have been so much easier to print, but it wouldn't have had the depth and the texture, because we've used lots of different yarns, and so it's got this sort of sea-like, sky-like finish on it.
It's amazing. It's so shiny.
Was that just through friendship, or?
I remember the first time we worked together, he was shooting us for the cover of Spin magazine. I think it was 1988 or 1989. And I borrowed my former guitar player, Peter Buck's his wife at the time had these giant, ridiculous sunglasses. And I borrowed them for the shoot.
All right.
It was a few months later that Bono appeared in some Anton Corbijn photographs wearing giant black sunglasses. And I was like, excuse me.
Where did that come from?
But that's when we first met Anton. And
Admiration at first sight?
we wanted to, yeah, well, he's so funny and he's so unassuming and humble, and he's such a brilliant photographer. And within that, I know that you know and admire a lot of photographers, a lot of photography, but he's an astonishing portraitist. I would put him in the highest ranks in terms of...
Do you think that's because he makes people relax immediately?
He's such a goofball.
Yeah.
And you know, he's Dutch, so he's got that like kind of staid, kind of quiet silence.
And the I can almost hear the voice now.
And then he's super goofy. You know,
Yeah.
he'll stand on one leg while he's taking the picture. And I've seen thousands of his contact sheets. The man can't take a bad picture. I asked him to take that picture. I wanted.
Yeah.
I saw this.
Miami, isn't it?
It's Miami. Yeah. And that's where I almost drowned on the scarf.
Right.
Yeah, this was sticking out of the top of a hotel called the Sinbad Hotel, and I saw it, and there's something about the three-dimensionality of it, and the fact that it's this like decrepit star with the neon. Now, on the original record cover, I put it together when Photoshop had just come out.
Right.
And I was using all these cheap kind of 101 Photoshop tricks. So the original album cover is, you know, I'm proud of it, but it's very 1992.
In a way, how lovely that.
This entire package is kind of an update of that.
The version of it.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm not sure whether.
So like I'd forgotten that there was neon. There's like, you can see the neon on
the edge.
Yeah, and someone took it. It's now gone. It's no longer there. The hotel is still there, but
Somebody's yard, right?
I know,
now.
right now someone's.
Can you imagine? That'd be great. But presumably it was quite brave.
That's the alternative. That's before the glasses came off.
Yeah.
And before the shirt came off.
There's the big spectacles again.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it was quite brave to have that as a cover, maybe. I don't know.
We never wanted to put ourselves on the cover.
Yeah.
The only time that we did, I put the drummer Bill Berry on the cover of our fourth album, wearing a duck mask. So it's a little absurd.
I bet he was pleased about that.
I still don't know why I did it, but I did. It's called Life's Rich Pageant. And so there was this kind of obscured portrait of him. But other than that, until the last album, and we knew making the last record was called Collapse Into Now. We knew it was going to be our last record ever,
Right.
but no one else knew. I decided to put the band on the cover for the last one, and I'm waving goodbye.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
Very
I took
nice.
that from Patti Smith, our mutual friend. Patti did her fourth album, you know, it's called Wave, and
Yeah.
she knew that she was going to step away from music for some period of time. And every song on that record is her saying goodbye.
Yeah.
And no one saw it until she just disappeared.
A long time.
She came back 17 years later,
Yeah.
thank God. Is it the one thing you have never done? Because
It is.
your interest in the arts and in design goes way beyond clothing.
I mean, I would love to. I mean, I've done more than just clothes, as you say, but I've never been brave enough to write things down, and I'm not sure I could. But there's so many words that you guys have written down, and you personally have written down. That is that because you were always interested in reading or poetry, or do they pop into your head? Or
I'm not a very good reader.
No,
I love Joan Didion. We were talking about Joan Didion earlier.
Yeah.
I love Joan Didion, and I love Douglas Copeland because something about the flatness of their writing, the simplicity of the way that they reveal the narrative, is easy for me to follow. Other more flowery writers, I find very, very difficult. I'm hyperactive since I was born, and it's very hard for me to stay focused on a book long enough to finish it.
Yeah, me too. I'm exactly the same.
Yeah.
I was on holiday recently, and I always take a book.
I do the same thing. I feel like if I put it close enough to my pillow,
Yeah.
something's going to seep in.
I know.
Like,
And then I was sitting there like this, and my wife, Pauline, she said, You know the book's upside down. I was showing off, pretending to read. It didn't quite work. I got to page 9.
There you go.
Yeah,
That's not bad.
And she'd got through 3 books. But when over the years, you read...
I have to tell you this story because
Go on, sorry.
the first time we came to London, we already had a reputation, and we played the Marquee Club, I think, and one of the music papers sent a photographer backstage to meet us, and they expected, drugs and screaming and sex, and we were all sitting around reading books. Well, I was reading a book by Christopher Isherwood.
Yes, yeah.
Which was a paperback that Peter Buck had bought at a secondhand store. Well, on the road, everything gets destroyed. The cover of the paperback had come off. So I took some duct tape from the stage and I put it back on, upside down. There's a photograph still existing. The first time we came to England, there's a picture of me reading a Christopher Isherwood book in the corner of the dressing room, and it's upside down. Horrifying. I still have the book, by the way.
I think we're twins.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so.
We have similar reading
I
patterns.
know, exactly.
But
I know that book.
Writing lyrics is something that it took me. I think by the 3rd album by R.E.M, I had learned how to put together a pop lyric that I was happy with.
Right.
Prior to that, I was kind of learning in public how to become a writer.
Yeah.
And I don't write anything else. I'm really, really like a one-trick pony when it comes to that. And when I get that trick right, it's brilliant.
When you read about some of the other musicians over the years where they will cut things out of a newspaper and put words together.
Brian Geisen and William Burroughs,
yeah.
I took a lot from those guys. The Cut Up.
Yeah.
I took a lot from those guys. And I took a lot from, the reason we started the band in the first place was because of Kerouac and Cassidy. We wanted to see the country and the world.
Of course, you have a connection with William Burroughs as well.
Yeah, well, he did Stormy Kitten.
Yeah,
he did a version of Stormy Kitten,
which I think you could still find on YouTube. I'm sure.
It's one of my favorite moments. Was
I have quite a few artworks by Burroughs, and I've got lots of documents and books. And
did you ever meet the man?
I never met him. Sadly,
I've
got two crudely drawn pictures of people with gunshots.
Yeah, blown through. Yeah, I went to that yard. I went to visit him.
Yeah.
I have a book coming out actually this spring, and there's a portrait of William that I took at his home in Kansas.
And of course, big influence on Patti as well. Patti Smith.
Yeah. She used to walk him home when they both lived at the Chelsea Hotel.
Right.
And he'd go out and he would not be able to walk alone late at night, and she would come and escort him back and put him to bed.
Right. Fantastic.
So beautiful.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah. Well, those 2 people, really had a lot to do with the reason that I wanted to be in a band in the first place and write, or try to learn how to write. I really took the Cut Up thing that Burroughs and Geisen kind of invented and applied that to the first album, the second album. By the third, I was really trying to work with narrative and fictional characters, pulling from real life, but fictionalizing everything a bit. And by the fourth album, by the fifth album, I think I had it down. But
did you get like not a formula, but an understanding of how it works? Yeah.
It's a craft.
Yeah.
And then the craft elevates into something different when you really hit it. Many performers, Patti Smith is a great example, when they're working, performing or writing, go into kind of a trance state. And I realized at some point in the late 80s that was when I did my best work, was when I wasn't overthinking it or trying too hard.
I think all the key to life is try to be relaxed, and if you're relaxed, then good things come.
Good things come pouring through.
Yeah.